into our room and see what's present here. What is our experience here now? You can feel the temperature. Hear the ambient noise. In this moment, what's present? And then allowing our awareness to turn in.
Hi guys, I'm definitely on this crew. They got
Attending to our posture, allowing the spine to lengthen and straighten to its natural extension. Like a center pole, and yet the muscles simply relax around it. Like a fabric draped on a flagpole. We might turn our awareness to the crown of our head. And begin to ever so gently float down through the center of our body. Noticing any tension in the brow, around the eyes. Soften and release. And into the jaw, around the mouth. Let your facial muscles succumb to gravity. As you inhale, you brighten. And as you exhale, you relax. Coming down into the base of the neck. Across the shoulders. And down the arms. All the way to the tips of the fingers. And then coming to the top of the torso and beginning to float down the upper back and your chest. Breathing into any places that feel tight, giving them permission to release. Coming down to the small of the back and all the way to your sit bones. Allow your belly to be soft, to receive the full breath. feeling the sensation of the belly rising and falling. As the body breathes. Feel the places where your body touches the cushion, the mat. Let your legs be soft and relaxed all the way to the tips of your toes. Bringing awareness right down to the ground, connecting to Mother Earth. Feeling a sense of safety, of being grounded, stable. Experience the movement and the stillness. As the breath flows out, and turns and flows back in again. Without force or impedance, simply allowing the body to breathe. Aware of thoughts, feelings, sensations in the body, mental images arising and passing like waves upon the shore as we attend to the rising and falling of the breath in the body. Just the breath. if you like, and it is comfortable to do so, fine-tune your awareness by bringing it to the sensation at the nostrils or on the upper lip. Like a sentry at the gate. Notice when you have been kidnapped. Notice what it feels like to be spinning a story. Rejoice that you have seen this and return to the breath. And then notice, what does it feel like to be presently aware, in harmony with movement and stillness. Not feeding or strangling what appears. Allowing it to come and go. As we sit here in quietude, we might ask ourselves, what is my intention? What motivates me to be here? What would I like to be able to offer to the world? If we can expand our intention to go beyond our own personal happiness and include those who are close to us, and we continue to expand out to wish happiness for all those beings with whom we are interdependent. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live in a world where everyone we met inspired us with their generosity and love? So just to think about our highest potential, to cultivate that, and then to turn to our refuge. And recite our prayers together. So allow your awareness to bring your heart teacher in front of you. And allow them to take the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha right there in front of you, in the space in front of you. Your heart Lama, who cares for you like a parent for their only child, with unconditional love. And imagine that from their heart, a light radiates out and invites the wisdom beings from all directions. And they come and dissolve into our Lama, who becomes then the embodiment of every enlightened being. We turn to them for refuge. I go for refuge until enlightenment to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha by my virtuous actions of giving and so on. May I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. I go for refuge until enlightenment to the mind of enlightenment, to seeing emptiness directly, and to the Arya beings who have. May I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. I go for refuge until enlightenment, with confidence in the knowledge that the nature of my own mind is wisdom. Its expression is clarity, and its compassion is all pervasive. May I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. May all beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings find good rebirths and the bliss of liberation. I will help us to have these. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. Oh, magnificent and precious Root Guru, please abide on the lotus and moon seat above my head. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. So now we imagine that our Lama accepts that request and comes above the crown of our head on a lotus in a moon seat. And as we recite these requests for blessings, a stream of blissful nectar and light flows down through the center of our Lama's body, entering our crown, coming down to our heart and filling us with these realizations on the stages of the path to enlightenment. May I be inspired by Guru devotion. The light rays flow. Uplifted by the preciousness of this human life. May I shed the fetters of attachment and aversion through a knowledge of impermanence. May I be protected by refuge. May I be guided by a knowledge of actions and their results. May I aim for liberation through renunciation. May I be motivated by bodhicitta. May I be opened by giving. May I be disciplined by ethical behavior. May I be strengthened by patience. May I be enthused by joyous effort. May I be stabilized by concentration. May I be freed by wisdom. Experience this blissful light rays and nectars flowing down. Allow your whole body to be filled. And then we make this request. Oh, magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus and moon seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and stay with me always until I attain enlightenment. So now Guru Shakyamuni Buddha melts into a small sphere of light. begins to descend down through my crown, coming to rest at the level of my heart, manifesting as a sphere of warm light whose nature is love, compassion, wisdom, and great joy. As we inhale, allow that light to become energized. And as we exhale, allow it to begin to expand. Brighter on the in-breath, expanding on the out-breath. It's removing all the obstacles to our perfect joy, perfect love, perfect compassion, and perfect wisdom. To experience this light filling our whole body. It becomes uncontainable. And there is a sensation of the light pouring out through our pores to fulfill our wishes to be of benefit to others. As we breathe in, we take away their sorrows. And as we breathe out, we give them exactly what they need. Bringing to mind individuals in your life who are unwell, taking away their sorrow and giving them wisdom, love, joy, compassion. And see it being received. Which brings joy to our own heart. growing our love and compassion, we extend this light to individuals in our life that we might call strangers, those that we have yet to meet, but perhaps see regularly. Knowing that, like me, they long for happiness and freedom from suffering. They have joys and sorrows. Offer them what they need. And all over the world, wherever we turn, we see people who are suffering. From ill health, from homelessness, from social injustice. Send your loving light to soothe the misery of the world. And imagine creating a world filled with joy. And in many places of the world, we find that those in power have hardened their hearts, have turned toward greed and self-aggrandizement. Send your love and soften their hearts. Wake them up. And imagine a different kind of world. Where everyone has enough. Where everyone feels loved and is loving. How wonderful. Now allow this light that you have sent out all over the world to begin to contract back, like breath on a mirror. This sphere of light, your own mind, in the nature of love, compassion, joy, and wisdom. It's the size of the room and the size of your body. And then once again, resting gently right there at your heart. Your own seed of enlightenment. Rejoice in that. And then begin to feel your body and come into the room. Two weeks ago, I talked about the Lam Rim, Lama Tsongkhapa's 3 principles of the path. And we talked about the preciousness of this human life. And then I mentioned impermanence and death, the fact that we're going to lose this life. And I wonder if any of you had some contemplations about that or had an experience of impermanence through this week, this past week, and how an understanding of impermanence impacts the way you think, and the way you act, and the way you treat others. So I wonder, Angela, do you have the ability to put into...
Yes, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you very much. What do you think? Does anybody want to share? Anybody want to share what you discussed or what experience that you had? You'll have to unmute yourself.
I think Gene and I are having a very similar experience because I'm only 5 years younger than him. And the thing about impermanence at my age, and I think what he was saying about his, is that you start finding it easier to focus on what's important because there's so many things you can't do anymore.
Yes, that's right.
And the impermanence aspect in one sense can be very disruptive. But on another sense, getting older and getting old can focus your mind on what's important. So that's what we kind of talked about.
Nice, nice, yeah.
And there is a freedom in that. There is a kind of liberation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There is. Does it create a sense of urgency?
I'm less urgent now than I used to be, for sure. I have more of a sense of urgency to do the things that are important, but I have no sense of urgency to do the things that I found are just some sorry habits.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yes. The very first time that I heard a talk on impermanence and death was in 1975. And I had gone to a Tibetan Buddhist talk and it was given by Thupten Pende. Some of you know Thupten Pende. And he said, I sat in the front row. This was my very first Tibetan Buddhist introduction. And I sat in the front row. And he said, yes, and then there was the woman who was preparing to go on holiday. She had her suitcase packed and she was just going across the street to buy a tube of lipstick. And then she died. And he went just like that to me. And I thought, and on the way home, my husband said, what did you think about the talk? And I said, so morbid. Why do you want to think about death? I want to think about life. So it took me a long time to really come to an understanding about why it's important to contemplate our own impermanence. Because if we're realistic, I don't care how old we are, even we have white hair, still, do we really think that we might die this evening? Could death come this evening? And this is the meditation that is done over and over and over again. The 3 parts of the death meditation is that death is definite. The time of death is indefinite. And the only thing that will help us at the time of death is our spiritual realizations. the Dharma is the only thing that's going to help us. And this week, when I was in the garden, I got stung by a yellow jacket 3 times. And I have a reaction to yellow jackets. So I went running into the house, pulling off my sweater because it was biting me. And when I got in the house and sat down, I thought, I have been practicing every day for at least 20 years for the time of my death, thinking about death, thinking about the stages of death and what happens at the time of death. And I didn't think about death at that time. I thought about, I just thought about getting away from that. I didn't sit down and meditate. That's sobering for me. That was sobering. And it made me realize that it's that quick. It's that quick that you can be taken into the next life. The only thing that keeps us, the only thing between this life and the next life is breathing out and not breathing in again. So what will help us at the time of death is where does our mind go? I do say that I wished that bee well. I hope that bee was all right. So they say, okay, if you think about others at the time of death, it closes the door to the 3 lower realms. So, okay. But it is so important for us to consider how we live our life with, the Lord of Death breathing down our neck, so that we are, as Victoria says, thinking about the important things in life. We don't get so attached to the outcome of this or that. And it makes a big difference. Does anybody else have anything they want to say about that? About death, about life and changes and impermanence? I think it's true that we don't think that death will come right now. We think about COVID, right? Oh yeah, well, COVID will happen to others because I'm taking really good care. We don't really think that why not me? William Saroyan, American author, he said, I always knew that death would come, but I always thought that in my case, an exception would be made. So being prepared and being okay to be able to die. We will be fortunate if we can die in a gentle way. And we can go through the process of death and not have it be too harsh. But we don't know, we don't know. So we accumulate as much virtue in this life, habituating our mind in bodhicitta, in a wish to be of benefit to others. That, there's nothing better that we can do than benefiting others. How can I help you should be our mantra. How can I help you? Not what you can do for me, but how can I help you? It changes our whole perspective in the way we live our life. So, great. I love seeing you all. So let's dedicate all this good energy. And next week, maybe we will do a little meditation on how things change, okay? And try to bed it down, but do think about it. Do think about how things change. Is there anything in this life that is stable, that you can rely on? Please think about that. How precious this life is. How we're going to lose it. And is there anything in this life that is stable. So please, let's dedicate. By merit of this virtue, may I become Buddha and lead all beings, everyone, into that enlightened state. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow, and may that born not decline, but increase more and more. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, find an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merit. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, there too may I remain to dispel the misery of the world.